You're listening to the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski,
featuring author, guest, and criminal defense lawyer Lori Hellis.
Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrant really kind of seem to have a lot of people, I shouldn't say everyone, fooled by their narcissism, because they certainly racked up a lot of people following them. I'm sure just to watch the train wreck, but also many more that really kind of wanted to go along with this way of thinking. And on the surface, if you just look at some of their stuff, it looks, if I were just scanning it, I'd be like, oh, she's kind of a strict parent. But then you go deeper and deeper and you start seeing, oh, this is like way beyond that. But on the surface, she really tried to massage this image and portray herself in one way where what we're learning, if true, quite a monster on the other side. Even her sister's now speaking out, saying that we did not know what they were doing. And they were cut off from her life several years ago. I guess, is it a surprise, or should it be a surprise to anyone that others, like family members, extended family, were completely unaware of any of this? I'm not saying the husband. I'm just saying those that, maybe once were in her life, but no longer.
Well, I don't think so, because I think that is very typical of what we see in these cases where you're dealing with someone who may be delusional, but certainly narcissistic. Mm-hmm. We saw it in the Lori Vallow case. I mean, she cut off her entire family on the Cox side of the family. Yeah. She cut them all off because they questioned what she was doing. So, later on, we learned that she hadn't spoken with her mother or her sister or her brother Adam in months. Yeah. Because they were asking, what the heck are you doing? So I think it's really typical in these kind of cases. I think now, I'm writing a book about the Vallow case. Yep. And so part of that has been a deep dive into the connection to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Just going there next. Yep. and yeah. Ruby and Jodi also check that box, as have so many this year. So yeah, keep going with that, because I'm wondering what you see with the connection here in this behavior.
Here's what I find very troubling about the Hildebrant and Franke case. Jodi Hildebrant is, as far as I know, she's still on their rolls, a therapist, a MSW social work therapist. And she was on a number of church referral lists. So bishops at the local level, stake presidents at the stake president level were referring the faithful to her for therapy. And as that was going on, the thing that is troubling is I saw an interview with Jodi Hildebrand's niece. Uh-huh. And Jodi Hildebrand's niece, Jessie, was one of the young people that Jodi took in and used her techniques on for discipline. Uh-huh. And the woman is incredibly traumatized. But she did report that during the time that she lived with Jodi, one of her punishments, one of her chores around the house was that she had to do all of Jodi's billing for her practice, for her therapy practice.
In air quotes.
And yeah, right. Yeah. And the troubling thing to her, this girl was also, had grown up in the LDS church. And she said the most troubling thing for her was the fact that about 80% of the billing was being paid for by the LDS church. Because when a bishop recommends someone go to counseling, if they can't afford it, the bishop pays for it out of their compassionate fund. So not only do we have the church recommending her to the faithful, but also paying for these very aberrant services. So very troubling and very much sort of reflects on the LDS culture.
She found like a perfect way to make money off of people in that church while, while professing to be a part of that. I mean, that in itself is sick, and it takes a special type of individual. I guess it's one thing if you're doing it and you're an honest, good human being and you're doing it for the right reasons. I see nothing wrong with that, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who are in that sort of situation as a counselor, referrals by churches. Okay, that in itself, not bad. But in this case, where it's being used the wrong way, yeah, that is sickening.
You're consuming the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.